From Rixie, this is the Daily Rec. I'm Hannah Weber, co-host of Rixie's dance and film podcast, Frameform. My YouTube recommendation for today is the DIY guru and seamstress withwendy. I actually found withwendy through Mason. Shout out, Mason. I like to sew. I like to DIY. I like to make my own stuff. It makes me feel good about just the fact that I can make something and be proud of it, but also it gives me something to do when I'm not doing what I regularly do. And withwendy is definitely a great inspiration on learning certain sewing techniques, as well as just creating new ideas on creating home products around your house. And she also is very good at clearly explaining how to make these items. Mason, do you remember recommending this YouTube channel to me?
I do. I don't remember when it was. I feel like it might have been like over a year ago.
I think it was like early last year.
Okay.
You came in like going like, yo.
I know that you made me some like pot handle things.
Pot holders.
Which I still use to this day. And I was like, if anybody's going to get anything out of this YouTube channel, it's going to be Hannah, because it's like DIY seamstress stuff. And I remember the first video I saw, I don't even know why it came up in my recommended, but it was the video where she takes a sleeping bag and turns it into like a winter coat.
Oh, yeah.
And because I believe she lives in Toronto, which is a very cold city
Yes.
most of the year.
Yes.
And I was just like, man, this is such a cool. Well, the jacket turned out really cool, and it was a cool sleeping bag to begin with. But I was like, Hannah's got to see this, because this is right up her alley. I don't know if she wants to make necessarily a coat out of a sleeping bag, but like, I imagine that there's some tips and tricks here that she would be into. And Wendy's cool. Like, at the end of the day, Wendy's super hip and super cool.
Some of my favorite projects that withwendy has made is actually just some of her sewing projects, as well as her recommendations on sewing. She breaks down like all the sewing essentials that you need, and even though like I may sound that I'm a great sewer or anything, but I would say I'm okay, and it's good to have someone that you could rely on to like kind of help out on certain stitches, as well as certain things that you may need to make your sewing projects a little easier. I also really like her episode when she was making mirrors, like her own mirrors for her house, and she was basically creating these circle-topped mirrors herself, and it was just really interesting of like how and what goes into the making of like carving your own mirror out, which is a lot of work. I watched recently, she made like these little bathroom kind of like tote thingies, kind of like just like little containers for like fabric containers for your bath essentials. And I was like, damn, like those are really professional looking, regarding like they look like they're factory made. And she was like, oh no, all you needed to get for, to make these items, they were like really simple, and definitely inspires me to like make my own little bath caddies.
I think it's interesting because I watch it for just as entertainment, and I think you watch it both, I would say like 20% entertainment and 80% like, hey, maybe I could do this, or what can I take from this?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, she's super cool, and I don't watch it nearly as much as you do. I think I just catch a few every now and again, but I think it was the perfect friend-to-friend rec.
Totally. If you want to check out withwendy, the link is in the show notes. This has been your Daily Rec. Laters.